1 Samuel 26. David spares Saul's life a second time. The Ziphites came to Saul at Gibeah. David is hiding on Hachilah, which faces Jeremoth, they said. So Saul got up and went down to Ziph wilderness to look for David there. He had 3,000 handpicked soldiers from Israel with him. Saul camped on Hachilah opposite Jeshimon beside the road. But David stayed in the wilderness. When David learned that Saul had come after him in the wilderness, he sent spies and discovered that Saul had definitely arrived. So David got up and went to the place where Saul camped, and saw the place where Saul and Abner, Ner's son, and Saul's general were sleeping. Saul was sleeping inside the camp with the troops camped all around him. David asked the Hittite and Jacob's brother Ahimelech, Zer's son, who will go down into the camp with me to Saul. I'll go down with you, Ab answered. So David and Ab approached the troops at night and found Saul laying there asleep in the camp with his spear stuck in the ground beside his head. Abner and the army were sleeping all around him. Ab said to David, God had handed your enemy over to you today. Let me pin him to the ground with my spear. One stroke is all I need. I won't need a second. But David said to Ab, don't kill him. No one can lift a hand against the Lord's appointed and go unpunished. As surely as the Lord lives, David continued, it'll be the Lord's who will strike him down, or his day will come, and he will die, or he'll fall in battle and be destroyed. The Lord forbid that I lift my hand against the Lord's appointed, but go ahead and take the spear by Saul's head and the jug of water, and let's go. So David took the spear and the water jug that were by Saul's head, and he and Ab left. No one saw them. No one knew they were there. And no one woke up. All of them remained asleep because a deep sleep of the Lord had come over them. David crossed over to the other side and stood atop the hill. with considerable distance between them. Then David shouted to the army and to Abner's son, "Abner, aren't you going to answer me? Who are you to shout out to the king?" Abner asked. David answered, "Abner, you're a man, aren't you? And you have no equal in Israel, right? Then why haven't you kept watch over your master, the king? One of the soldiers came to kill your master, the king. What you've done is terrible. As surely as the Lord lives, all your men are dead men, because you didn't keep close watch over your master, the Lord's anointed. Have you looked around? Where's the king's spear and the water jug that were by his head?" Saul recognized David's voice. "David, my son, is that your voice?" David said, "Yes, it is, my master, my king." "Why?" David continued. "Is my master chasing me, his servant? What have I done? And what wrong am I guilty of, my master the king? Please listen to what your servant has to say. If the Lord, who is incited against you, then let him keep an offering. But if human beings have done it, then let them keep them and be cursed before the Lord, because they are now driven me off, keeping me from sharing the Lord's inheritance. Go, they tell me, worship other gods. Don't let my blood spill on the ground apart from the Lord's presence, because the king of Israel has come out looking for a simple flea, like someone haunting a partridge in the mountains." Then Saul said, "I have sinned, David, my son. Come back, because you are considered my life precious today. I won't harm you again. I have acted foolishly and have made a huge mistake. Here is the king's spear," David answered. "Allow one of your servants to come over and get it. Remember, the Lord rewards every person for their righteousness and loyalty, and I wasn't willing to lift a hand against the Lord's anointed, even though the Lord's handed you over to me today. And just as I considered your life valuable today, may the Lord consider my life valuable, and may he deliver me from all trouble." Then Saul said to David, "Bless you, David, my son. You will accomplish much, and you will certainly succeed." Then David went on his way, but Saul came back home. Thank you for listening to this chapter, and God bless.